Welcome back to the small but dangerously growing hardcore series, where I, a noob fat-fingered hunter, attempt the impossible, becoming the most giga chat player on the server. Somehow, against all odds, I've hit level 60 and finished my pre-raid best in slot grind, which is wild because statistically, most players don't even get past level 16. So me, standing here right now, that's not skill, that's divine intervention. Or is it? So, what does it actually take to raid in hardcore? Well, first off, you most likely need a guild. And not just any guild. You need gamers. Disgusting, magnificent, daylight-frightened, vampire, square-eyed, shrimp-postured, beautiful gamers. Who rather than going outside and being normal, choose to shoot classic WoW straight to their veins. Essentially, beings which have no life. These creatures know everything, every class, every mob, every small little minute detail that any normal person wouldn't remember, but they do. Then you need 20 to 40 players who have all reached max level and collectively decided, yes, let's voluntarily enter the one place specifically designed to kill us. Which means you play the most meta, optimal spec, you don't experiment, you don't have fun, and you definitely don't roleplay. And then there's consumables. Oh my god, here's a list. I cannot be bothered. These are the things we need. Which then means you need a lot of gold. So what did I do? I abandoned skinning, leveled herbalism to 300 and became a Black Lotus fiend. Because Black Lotus is used to make the most valuable potion in hardcore, the Potion of Petrification. The Black Lotus at the moment sells from anything between 20 and 30 golds, depending on demand, which is basically money printing. And on top of that, this can be done with layer swapping. So if I don't see a Black Lotus, I'm immediately swapping layers. Now, let's talk world buffs. In classic hardcore, world buffs are the single best power spike you can get to reduce your chance of becoming a ghost.
I'm dead already, Peter.
They're buffs dropped by players after completing raid-related quests. To track them, yes, you have to track these, there's literally a website called When Buffs, which tells you when a buff drops, where they drop, and which guild is responsible. And on top of these droppable world buffs, you have to go into Dire Maul to pick up 3 additional buffs. And after that, you have to go to Felwood to pick up another world buff, which you can only do by cleansing corrupted songflowers, which you additionally have to grind for to turn those corrupted songflowers into cleansed ones to pick up the buff. And that's not all. If the Dark Moon Fair is up, congrats, you're traveling to either Thunderbluff to pick that up or Goldshire. Just be careful, because the guards will kill you for that 10% damage buff. Worth it? Probably. And all of this is before accounting for the fact that you're expected to know every boss mechanic, every trash pack, and your exact role in that raid. So, when I'm not farming gold, or collecting world buffs, or gearing up, I'm watching all guild VODs trying to absorb knowledge through pure fear, because remember, there are no mistakes in hardcore. One wipe and you're back to Brill, you're back to Durotar, re-leveling from scratch. With that all being said, I'm terrified, highly underqualified, and I'm unreasonably excited for my very first hardcore raid experience. Just to keep you in the loop-de-whoop, we're currently in Phase 6, the final phase of Classic in World of Warcraft, which means 2 special 20-man raids are now unlocked. Runes of Encourage and Soul Gurup. These are considered the entry-level raids, and by entry-level I mean slightly less likely to immediately delete your character. The first raid I ended up doing was AQ20, and with a half-time rent buff for getting my consumables, not being on time, and in general just freaking out, for example asking if I should use a greater nature protection potion before the fight, things were looking quite decent. I mean, it was actually really cool seeing so many level 60s who had all made it this far, and now we're just standing side by side trying to overcome these insanely dangerous obstacles. For the first pack mechanic, we're all stacked together tighter than any form of UK public transport. The first boss we had to face off against was a big fat larv, whose one mechanic is to drop sand puddles on the ground. I mean, that was pretty much it. The second boss starts with a gauntlet, and right before it begins, my hunter pal, who literally held my hand throughout the entire raid, who explains to me to drop a freezing trap every 30 seconds. The basic strategy is simple: AoE and slow the swarm guards and warriors, while the tank drags the kernels off to the side. You repeat this a few times, and then suddenly a boss that looks like something that came straight out of SpongeBob comes charging at us. Now, remember how I mentioned that greater nature protection potion earlier? Yeah, that potion had ran out. So when the boss hits me with 50% of my health with one ability, I absolutely doodled my pants. To really drive home how dangerous hardcore WoW is, in this 20-man raid group alone, this priest, rogue, warrior, and my mentor hunter friend have all died during the making of this video. And honestly, it feels so bizarre. I mean, some of these people you've really grown close to over time, and suddenly they're gone, because there's a real chance they will never log back in, re-level, and grind all over again. In a very poetic way, if the character dies, they do too. That makes every mistake hit even harder. It's not just a healer, a DPS, or a tank you lose. Sometimes it's a close friend. So anyway, the next boss starts with eggs scattered everywhere. You damage an egg down to about 30%, the boss fixates on a random raid member, and that person drags her over to the damaged eggs.
Friendly goddamn fire!
Huh?
You are mine!
And right at that moment, I realized something horrifying. My beautiful cat was still level 58, which directly goes against my third point of this video. You don't have fun. And by the way, the only name suggestion I got for my cat were
Inseminator, Violator, Impregnator.
So the name suggestion box is still open. Please keep it PG, for God's sake. But let's get back to AQ20. We clear the path ahead and meet the next boss. This one I only had to use my ability Viper Sting, which I definitely did. Absolutely, no doubt about it. At this point, we once again whip out our famous UK transport raid formation. And then we finally meet the last boss. This fight can be cheesed by a warlock using the Eye of Kilrock, which removes the boss in rage. This cheese can fail though, so it's usually recommended to drop a mage portal to Orgrimmar, because when things go wrong in hardcore, they go very, very wrong.
Sands of the desert, rise and block out the sun.
We managed to corner him and I bolt him down with arrows until he falls. As I've barely gotten the chance to shake off the nerves of the first raid, we're off to Solgarup. Before the second raid starts, I managed to snag a brand new boot upgrade from the previous raid. On the first boss of CG, I'm told by my hunter friend to stay next to him so we can absorb a potential charge. Which is very concerning considering he used a Titan's Flask and has over 3000 more health than I do. But luckily, no charges were used. The second boss once again requires the classic UK underground tactic. About halfway through, we allowed insight to slay a troll who identifies as a snake.
I'm a snake.
On the third boss, I start freaking out. I mean, more than normal of course, because the tiny bit of research I did beforehand told me this boss can literally one-shot you with his threatening gaze mechanic, which targets a random player, and if that said player doesn't immediately press the escape key or a lip, the boss will come charging against you and one-shot you. So no pressure. To begin the fight, we kill his diplomat, as we're in no interest of negotiating with terrorists. And then he comes charging in on an absolute unit of a raptor.
I'll feed your souls to Hakar
Luckily,
himself.
both threatening gazes go on my guildies and we take him down with 0 deaths. And now, the moment I've been waiting for. The final boss, Hakar. As a rule of thumb, I ask my hunter buddy. He responds with,
Too many to say now.
fantastic. As the pull timer counts down, I do a little prayer. But to my surprise, we endure. I did it. My first 2 raids completed, and on top of that, I walk away with a new cloak upgrade, some pants, and a future investment. It's at this point that I suddenly remember something very important. I actually had raid-related quests for both raids I just had completed. And one of these quests could actually have rewarded me with a really good crossbow. But due to the stress, panic, and hardcore brain rot, I was too afraid to loot any bosses. As I make my way back to Stranglethorn Vale, I become aware that while our raid was going on, a parallel raid was happening at the same time. That raid claimed the lives of 6 characters. But that was not going to discourage me. On the contrary. Back in the last episode, we picked up Warlord Gortu's command, the start of the Onyxia attunement, which now sends us into Lower Blackrock Spire to kill a couple of bosses. When said quest is turned in, we're sent to Orgrimmar to speak to a washed-up orc named Eitrick, which leads us to the big man himself, Thrall. He gives us the famous quest for the Horde, which requires us to enter UBRS and kill Rend Blackhand. Now, as the certified doofus that I am, I realize too late that the quest I'm about to turn in is actually for dropping the world buff War Chief's Blessing.
Welcome to Orgrimmar.
And this doesn't go totally unnoticed by my guild leader. Thrall then hands me another quest, which sends me to the barren lands of Desolus, where I meet Rexar, the absolute daddy of all hunters. But before I head back for a quick CG and AQ20 run. This time in AQ20, I get chased by the fat buck, and once again I realize my pet is still only level 59. You don't have fun. This time we also summon a big watery lizard, something we haven't done before. And then tragedy strikes. As everyone knows, a true warrior's worth is only measured by how far on top of the damage meter he is. And since Hakar cannot be taunted, we lose our first raider. Though everything wasn't just completely negative, remember those 2 quests I didn't get to do before? Well, I managed to collect a ton of priest heads in Solgarup, which allowed me to create a nice necklace, which in return could reward me with a belt upgrade. And speaking of upgrades, I also picked up 2 venom sacks, and by speaking to the right, deeply perverted dwarf in Silithus, I'm rewarded with a beautiful new crossbow. And now, back to the Onyxia attunement. We return to our old emphasis on old and very familiar friend Miranda in Western Plaguelands, who sends us straight back to Upper Blackrock Spire to collect 20 Black Dragonspawn eyes. Which when collected, turn into a medallion, which when clicked inside a cave in Dustwallow Marsh, turns us into a dragon. Inside the cave, we speak to Emberstrife, a scary elite dragon which under normal circumstances would roast and cook us instantly, but luckily turns friendly once the medallion necklace is used. She gives us 3 quests. But before we can continue, it's back to CG and AQ. This time, I pick up a higher rank of Serpent Sting, upgrade my gloves, grab another future investment, and almost kill myself by ass pulling a pack while falling behind. With 3 white monsters down, with lightning fast reflexes, I somehow cling to life. And with another helmet upgrade, and leg upgrade, I feel and look like a million gold. Back in Yamba Island, I turn in my first investment after hitting the required rep with the Zandalar tribe. I'm only a few hundred rep off Honored, so I commit a small sin on the auction house and buy some bijous and coins. Honored achieved, which rewards me with a new belt and a 2-piece bonus, and suddenly I start seeing myself on the damage meters. And now it's finally time to complete the Onyxia attunement. Emberstrife has commanded me to slay 3 different dragons scattered across Azeroth, which requires us to gather a small raid group of elite gamers. We head to our first victim in Tanaris, a bronze drake with the name of Chronalis, which is the first dragon we managed to slay and loot its head. A shift in climate and we find ourselves in the brisk cold winter spring, and deep inside one of its caves we find our next dragon, Scryer. It should be said that these dragons slap, so we're just overgeared, but they can be very, very deadly. Speaking of deadly, a deadly smell comes from the Swamp of Sorrows, where our final dragon of the trio lurks, Somnus. As like the previous, we kill him and loot his head. As 3 dragons are obviously not enough for Emberstrife, we are sent to Grimbertoll in Wetlands, where our final challenge meets us, Axtrox, a red flaming hot dragon guarding the gates of Grimbertoll. And just like his sister and brothers, he eventually falls to our crusade. Emberstrife wants to share our hype, so we're sent back to Rexar, which leads us back to Upper Blackrock Spire to kill General Drakisath. And at last, at 1 AM, we're rewarded with the Drakefire Amulet, meaning we're officially attuned to enter Onyxia's lair. And on that very same day, I enter my first ever 40-man raid and make my way straight into the belly of the beast, Onyxia herself. I unboon my buffs, run to her right side as instructed by our guild, and start bolting her down with arrows. She then transitions into phase 2, flying to the middle of the room and taking off, whilst firing fireballs directed at random targets. As her health drops lower and lower, my heartbeat starts rising. The Broodmother has been slain. And on top of that, she actually drops an item of interest, the mature black dragon sinew. This item can be combined with the ancient petrified leaf dropped from Molten Core to create the most dope bow in classic Rockdelar. I mean, it literally has mushrooms on it. It's awesome. Personally, it reminds me of a staff I always used to get whilst leveling on my druids back in Cataclysm, the Staff of the Verdant Cycle. So yeah, this is definitely the coolest hunter weapon in my opinion. Unfortunately, this Onyxia run was combined with a Molten Core run, and since I wasn't invited to Molten Core and my gear was still lacking, I had no idea I was actually entitled to roll on it. So I just left the raid group and forgot about it. But since my raid had ended, after a long-lasting 8 minutes, I was technically free to do a Solgar Up run, especially since another player had just died in AQ20. So I just go on about my life, paying very little attention to CG. As far as I'm concerned, I'm now 40-man raid material. And then a mage Frostmovers, a nearby axe thrower, he takes me down to 46% health in under 3 seconds, chain CCs me, and I'm forced to use a Petri. And that's just the hardcore universe giving me a reminder that we're still playing hardcore, and the tiniest moment of not paying attention might be my last. At this point, I slide into the DMs of my, at the time, raid leader and convince him to reserve me a spot for Molten Core. I assure him that I've gotten powerful buffs like Spirit of Sansa and Juju Might, which actually does grant me a raid spot. The only issue is, that was a blatant lie. I mean, I'm not even revered with Sandra yet, and I actually don't even have any Juju Might. which leads me to farming elite frost giants in Winterspring, hoping for Frostmaw Echoes, which supposedly have a 40% drop rate on Wowhead. But doing my own research, I'd estimate it to be around 5% drop chance. It took me well over 15 kills to see my first Frostmaw Echo drop, and I needed 3. And finally, we've acquired 3 Juju Might. Since I'm still not honored with the Sandalot tribe and therefore can't get the Spirit of Sansa, which grants me an extra 500 HP, I picked up the next best thing in the Blasted Lands, Ground Scorpog Essay. Now, with both consumable acquired and a raid spot secured, I enter my second Onyxia run, where I finally win my first real piece of raid gear. A huge upgrade. My Dragonstalker helmet tier 2. And I mean, it looks freaking awesome. And now I'm heading into Molten Core. I mean, I never would have thought that I've gotten this far, even though I might not have done it on the most ethical basis. Here we are. I mean, we're literally killing Molten Giants, Core Hounds, Fire Lords, and all kinds of other dangerous mobs, and so far, everything is going surprisingly smooth. I mean, not gonna lie, my damage is basically non-existent because I'm way more focused on the mechanics and not dying than performing well on the meters. And before we know it, we're already at the first boss, Luciferon, which honestly was quite underwhelming, but his loot wasn't. He drops a hunter-specific tome, the Tome of Tranquilizing Shot, which I end up winning by being the only hunter in the raid who doesn't already have it. Hell yes! This tome grants you the ability Tranquilizing Shot, which can remove powerful enrages, such as the upcoming boss Magmadar has, which he does end up using, and I neutralize it with my brand new ability. As we push deeper into Molten Core, I can't shake the feeling of how insanely cool this all is. Every now and then, while playing hardcore WoW, I get these moments of pure appreciation, and collectively progressing through MC generally feels so cool. As someone who's played since Cataclysm, I can confidently say that no other version of the game has given me this level of excitement. The next boss is probably one of the hardest in Molten Core, not because he hits especially hard, but because the individual player IQ is being tested. Our random player gets targeted with a living bomb, and it's their job not to blow up the entire raid. Simple, in theory. Next up is Gar. The fight starts with a mage being sacrificed, running headfirst into the boss and ice blocking. Tanks and off-tanks then pick up the adds, while the rest of us focus Gar. After that, it's pretty straightforward. The raid leader calls out each add to kill one by one. When they die, they explode on spot, so melee has to move away or they get sent flying. The next boss is a cruel son of a gun and claims the life of my cat. After that, we face an overgrown Molten Giant, but alas, Major Domo. As mentioned earlier when talking about Rockdelar, he can drop the ancient petrified leaf. And after slaying his trusted disciples one by one, he yields. Unfortunately, this time he doesn't drop the leaf. But who knows, maybe in the future. And finally, we reach the most infamous, lava-spitting, fire-slinging, world-ending menace himself, Ragnaros. After Major Domo wakes him up from a nap, Ragnaros rewards Domo with a swift death. I mean, frankly, he had it coming. As a ranged player, the fight isn't too complicated. I mean, your only job is to stand near a rock formation. Naturally, I stand in the open. This results in me being hurled into the air and of course landing directly into the lava. Let me tell you, there is no worse feeling than sitting in the lava, watching your health tick down every second, desperately trying to find a way out. And yes, this happens to me twice. But at last, the Fire Lord is extinguished. I mean, loot-wise, I didn't get anything. But honestly, I didn't care. In the following weeks, I managed to do a couple more CG and AQ20 runs. And after staring at Warmonger for way too long, I finally accepted the truth. That weapon is ugly AF. And also bad. I mean, really, really bad. It had to be replaced. So I picked up a mean two-hander inside Diremore North. And I got one of my guildies to enchant it with 25 agility, which cost me a steep 70 gold. I mean, that one really hurts the pockets. And then came the infamous MC run. Normally, I would just roll the clip here. Unfortunately, my sleep-deprived ass accidentally deleted the entire raid recording. Luckily, my shaman friend has his POV. To paint you a picture, we accidentally pulled an extra pack and then the chaos unfolded. I mean, dummies were dropped and we're slowly retreating, but our hands were forced by these elementals. Our raid members were dying like flies until a Petri callout was made.
There's Petri out. There's Petri out.
I mean, myself, I had to Petri before the 60-second timer was back up, which meant I had to re-Petri while a Corehound was actively chewing on me. But I made it out alive, and this was by far the closest call I've ever had in hardcore. In total, we lost 4 raiders in that Molten Core run. There was no feast, no songs that night. Our dead were beyond the count of grief. And that night, I swore to my fallen guildies that I would have my vengeance. Rest, brave warriors of Leftover. Your bodies may lie in the fiery depths and covered in ash and dust, but your spirits are finally free. But the grind continues for us. Another AQ20 run later, I finally get my Mega Biz belt, and this time I actually win it. And right before attacking the last boss, Hakar, we noticed our brilliant mage is suspended mid-air using a Petri potion. And if that wasn't bad enough, mobs underneath him starts to aggro, which means we heroically jump down to save him from a slow, humiliating death.
Thank you for
And as a
saving
reward for our heroic actions, the gods bestow upon me the coolest two-hand sword in the game, Sinrock, the Destroyer of Worlds. And of course that means another 70 gold for a 25 agility enchant is used. I'm financially irresponsible, but come on, this weapon looks that good. You know it's a proper weapon when it extends beyond the character window UI. From this point on, I'm still not topping the meters, but I am mugging people left and right. What I lack in mechanical skill, I more than make up for it in raw visual dominance. A shoulder upgrade drops, and I win them. The ancient petrified leaf also drops, and I don't win it. Maybe in the future. The classic WoW brain rot continues when a Discord server dies mid-air, forcing everyone into Blizzard's patented in-game voice system, which there was no trouble using. Not at all.
Hello everyone.
Hello? Someone can hear me? Yeah?
Can you guys hear me?
And of course you get to hear our guildmaster's famous line.
Loot the dogs. Like, yeah, loot dogs. Before we pull, everyone go to the left. To the left.
Okay.
Backwards.
Like this song.
5, 4,
But this is not a pull timer apparently.
2, 1.
Click it.
Okay, click the dog guys. It's personal now with Kelly, so.
Yep. And now we go to the right side.
Oh my god.
Kill him, my rage.
What did I do?
Care. Click the dog.
Yes, please guys.
Was it that horn?
Yeah.
Okay,
Biggest raid boss. Loot the dog. Loot the
Loot the
dog. Loot the dog. Loot the dog.
And unfortunately, still no leaf dropped. But maybe this time we could get lucky with a mature black dragon Sinnoh drop from Onyxia. Yikes. And in most Molten Core runs I now join, I'm emotionally manipulating people just to get a chance at the Sinnoh or the Leaf.
Sure.
You gotta do what you gotta do. And maybe, just maybe, this time we'll get the Leaf. The next Onyxia run is where things get spicy. I get feared into the worst possible position and I have to Petri. Then as I'm dropping low and I'm way too far from the rest of my raid, I'm forced to re-Petri just to stay alive. And still no Sinnoh drops. As I reflect on this journey that hardcore WoW is, maybe I've gotten too focused on the material aspect of loot and forgotten what it's all about. The journey. Maybe the true riches don't lie in the cosmetic upgrades or DPS increases, but in the impact you have on the people you meet along the way. Maybe the true treasures lies in your community and not in your bank. Just f***ing kidding. Did you really think I would give up that easily? Of course I got the Leaf and I got the Sinnoh. See you in the next video where we're going to slay some demons, baby.